talking about answering the question, how do I get my children to listen to me? I think it's a desire that is universal. Every parent has that desire. And sometimes it happens in the crisis of the moment. Other times it just happens going along in the regular times of life. But we want our children to listen to us. And the amazing thing is, as we began to ask and answer that question, I gave you those three words of talk and listen and talk. We began to think about that, and really, as we look at what God's Word says, really the question gets a little recrafted. And we look at it from a more biblical perspective, and it becomes more an issue of, how do I get my child to listen to God? And I am just the tool that stands between the Lord and between my child, and I'm there to help direct my child, my teenager, to listen to the Lord. And what I'm finding in my years of working as a youth pastor and working with families, and in my own life personally, is, you've got those times where you're wanting your child to listen, and you're holding the newspaper and trying to read the newspaper and saying yes, yes, and the child's so desperately wanting you to listen. And it's as if we act like we're listening, but we're really not. But then progress that forward, and that child is no longer 7, but 17, and the child's the one sitting there doing whatever with the headphones in, or all kinds of things going on, or talking to friends on the phone, or texting, or whatever. And we as a parent are trying to communicate and say, here's what you need to do, and here's what I want you to do. And the teenager's giving the same response. Yeah. And we're missing that opportunity. So as we recraft the question, and how do I get my children to listen to God, it becomes more about us helping our children relate to God and listen to what God's Word says and going to God's Word for answers. And so then we have the responsibility of modeling how to go to God for answers, studying in God's Word, praying to the Lord and asking for His help, and doing that in every issue, little and big, of life. And so as the question gets recrafted and answered, we understand the importance of talking and listening and talking, but it's really more for an issue of helping our children to listen to what God has to say, so much more so than what we have to say. We're just a tool. We're the training tool that helps get them to understand who they're really supposed to be following and why.